So today we are going to look at the message of St. John Paul II on the World Youth Day in Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina in 1987. It's our prayer that all of us shall understand and practice this message and the lessons learned along the way so that we can stay connected to the spirit of the World Youth Day. And as a result, we can be able to continue discovering the depth, the beauty and richness of our faith to help heal, transform, and bring mercy and compassion into our world, which to some extent is broken, which to some extent is torn apart and hurting. The theme of this day was picked from the first letter of St. John, chapter 3, verse 16, which says, "We have come to know and believe in the love God has for us." We have come to know and believe in the love God has for us. And therefore the Holy Father embarks on a journey to explain to us what this love entails. So the Pope begins by quoting his first encyclical Redemptor Hominis, that is, Redemption of Man, which says that man cannot live without love. In fact, he remains a being that cannot understand himself. His life becomes senseless if love is not revealed in him. If he does not experience love and participate in it intimately, he remains a being that cannot understand himself. The second point, the Pope goes ahead to remind young people that the phase of life we are in is a phase of responsibility and hope. It's a phase of development, searching for the meaning and great ideals and projects of life and aspiration to the truth and attainment of genuine happiness. In this second point, the Pope is drawing our attention to the fact that we cannot express our love fully if we do not take full responsibility for the various aspects of our lives, be it education and career, be it our health, families, our relationships, and search for great ideals of life and happiness that is genuine, happiness that does not pretend, and in all this, never to lose hope. The Pope reminds us that the period we are in is a period that we feel the need to be recognized, the need to be supported, listened to, and loved. And fourthly, he warns us against superficial hedonism, that is, seeking pleasure. He says, looking for satisfaction in pleasure will only lead us into an emptiness in our souls. In addition, he warns us against enclosing ourselves in the shell of egoism, that is, giving self-importance to ourselves, being selfish and being indifferent and skeptic, that is, living in doubt and disbelief. He concludes by saying that all these things only contradicts the aspirations of a true love, the aspirations of love that knows no frontiers, love that knows no limits and boundaries. Number 5, the Pope appeals to us to do 3 things. 1, to grow in humanity. 2, to give absolute priority to the values of the Spirit. And number 3, to transform ourselves into new men by increasingly recognizing and accepting the presence of God in our life. A presence of God who is love, a Father who loves us for eternity, a Father who created us by love and who out of that same love sent his only Son to forgive our sins, to reconcile us to him, and to enable us to live with him in a communion of love for eternity. Number 6, the Pope goes on to stress that World Youth Day celebrations too have a community dimension, to love God and others. It is easy to say, I love God. I converse with him on a daily basis. I pray, I praise, I worship. But if we don't embrace others, then our love for God is fake. But if we embrace God and others alike, we shall experience what the Pope calls enthusiasm, that zeal, that eagerness, passion, and joy of the love of God, which we are called to unity and solidarity. Number 7, the Pope says this call to love should never exclude anyone. And instead, it should be one that transcends frontiers, the one that transcends boundaries, borders, limits, and it should be addressed to all young people without distinction, without any distinction, to strengthen and renew the bonds by which young people are united in conditions of unemployment, poverty, and solitude, those feeling marginalized, those who bear the cross of sickness, and those who do not accept religious faith. And the reason for all this, the Pope says, it is because charity doesn't compromise with error, but goes up to everyone so as to open up the paths to conversion. In conclusion, the Pope proposes to young people Jesus by quoting Ephesians chapter 2 verse 20 that says, "May Jesus be the cornerstone of your life and of the new civilization which we are called to build in a spirit of generous solidarity and sharing." And he insists that there is no growth in peace and justice, in truth and freedom, without the presence of Christ and salvific power. To build this love, what the Pope calls a civilization of love, requires three things which he points out as: one, a strong and persevering character; two, readiness for self-sacrifice; and three, by overcoming divisions and various forms of materialism. This is a responsibility of the youth and young adults of today, who will be men and women of tomorrow. Dear young people, my friends, be witnesses to the love of God, sowers of hope and builders of peace. Christ, the Church, and the world depend and wait upon the witness of our lives, founded in the truth revealed by Christ. Saint Pope John Paul II in Buenos Aires, Argentina, 1987. Our next video will be on St. John Paul's message to the youth of the world in Santiago de Compostela in Spain on 15th August 1989.